Whoops, that's not good. There it is. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the special edition of the Feuerstein's Fire American Soccer Show. I'm your host, Daniel Feuerstein. This is the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup postgame show in the semifinals as the United States defeats Guatemala by a final of 2-1. Now, before I even get to the U.S. men's national team, let me personally congratulate Guatemala. And I'll tell you why I'm doing this because, Guatemala several years ago was given an international ban by FIFA. Now, why was that? At the time, Guatemala, their players were being suspended by FIFA due to, I believe it was, if I remember the reporting correctly, they tested positive for doping, and FIFA properly suspended them. So instead of taking their punishment, these Guatemalan players went to the Guatemalan government office. They went to the government of sport in that department in the Guatemala government. They overturned FIFA's ruling. Actually, I think it was the Guatemala's FA's ruling. I'm sorry. I think it was Guatemala's FA's ruling. But when the Guatemalan government, who was supposed to not get involved with football, FIFA rules, and everything else, and a part of that, well, FIFA banned the Guatemalan FA because of the interference by the government of Guatemala from their director of sport in the government. And once again, this is where we always try to inform those that are not familiar with the rules of FIFA. No government interference should be brought into the sport of football. That's why the U.S. Soccer Federation is supposed to be separate from what the U.S. government will do. And every time, and it does not matter, if you're a politician, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent, you try to interfere with FIFA business and U.S. soccer business, that's when I step up and I tell these people on their social media pages, please stand down. Because I don't want to see U.S. soccer be charged with a ban by FIFA. And whether it does happen or not, it's best not to have it done anyway. So that's why all these years for Guatemala to get back to where they were, I believe it was a year or 2 year ban. They could not perform on the international stage. Any of their clubs who qualified for the CONCACAF Champions League, now the CONCACAF Champions Cup, they would also not be allowed to participate in that. So no youth tournaments for under 20, under 17, under 15, no CONCACAF Champions League, now Champions Cup, no World Cup qualifying, no friendlies, no nothing. They were behind by a couple of years. And for them to get back to this level, Guatemala, just for them to get back into this level with their head coach, it is an amazing accomplishment. And to see them finding talent, not just within their country, but of course, some of these players on the Guatemalan national team they are born in the United States to Guatemalan parents. So obviously, they get an opportunity on the international stage if they can't play for the U.S. men's national team. And that's unfortunate for us, but, fortunate for Guatemala. And once again, I just want to give, congratulations for the national team. Let me just get his name real quick if I think I have it. Yes, I do have it. The head coach is Luis Tena, and I want to give him credit, Luis Tena, for what he has done with the Guatemalan national team. You know, look, someone has to win, someone has to lose. Guatemala, unfortunately for them, they lost, but it was still a great battle with Guatemala in this championship final because they did press and they did look dangerous, even when they were down 2-0 after the first 15 minutes of the match. Outside of that, good luck with World Cup qualifying, and we'll see if the country does get to go to their first ever World Cup. We'll see what happens down the road this upcoming fall. Now, of course, to the U.S. men's national team. This was the Diego Luna show. And when I mean the Diego Luna show, this kid, this man, this young man shows he wants the ball. He shows to give him the ball. He shows that he's going to carry the flag of American soccer and America as a whole, and he will put the ball in the back of the net because he wants it. He wants it for himself. He wants it for his teammates. He wants it for his coaches. He wants it for his family. He wants it for himself, and he wants it for all of us. This man, who should have been on the roster for the Parisian Olympic Games last summer, should have been on that roster. And look what he does now in this CONCACAF Gold Cup. Gets the tying goal against Costa Rica in Minnesota, gets 2 goals and the match winner against Guatemala in St. Louis. And this kid is proving why he should be on the World Cup roster next summer. That is the type of fight. That is the type of determination. That is the type of player this national team needs. Diego Luna, my friends. Diego Luna. That kid is something special. That player is going to prove to all of us he is the next generation for this national team. Honestly, we don't know what the roster will be. But I'll say it right now. If Weston McKennie doesn't get picked, if Christian Pulisic doesn't get picked, and Luna takes one of their spots, I have no problem with it whatsoever. I have no problem with it. Because they need to be taught a lesson whenever your name gets called. Now, I understand Weston was going to play for Juventus in the FIFA Club World Cup, but his response and comments, the whole Pulisic situation, turned me off. It turned me off. And I did not like it. It was really simple, Weston. Don't open your mouth. Keep those thoughts to yourself. And even though you only had 4 matches in the FIFA Club World Cup, don't ever say anything like that ever again. We cannot have entitled, spoiled brats, or shall we say the old terminology, or the old saying, it goes, you cannot have the lunatics run the asylum. That, my friends, is a recipe for disaster. And who has to fix this? Of course, it has to be the head coach. But who else? The U.S. Soccer Federation. Cindy Parlow-Cone, J.T. Batson, Matt Crocker. Those are the 3 most important people this national team and this U.S. Soccer Federation have. You cannot say, oh, darn, I guess we're not going to have them in this Gold Cup. No, that's not how you do it, folks. You've got to learn to put your foot on the gas. You cannot allow to be stepped on by any of these players. Period. They don't run the federation. You are the governing body. You run the federation. You have to tell these players, fine, you don't want to come? Then fine. Maybe we won't call you back in. They got to be taught a lesson. They cannot and no longer be handed any of this anymore. Time to earn your place and your spot. Once again, it was unbelievable. It was fantastic to see how Diego Luna proving he wants it. Wants to be a part of it. He wants to be in that World Cup and on that roster. And if these games does not prove that he should be on the World Cup roster, well then Mauricio Pochettino needs to have his head examined. But I will say this. It was exciting. It was fun. It was brilliant. And I loved every minute of it. Let's go ahead and take a look now as we pull up the graphic. Look at that. Unbelievable. Once again, 4th minute, that first goal by Diego Luna was an amazing job from the U.S. men's national team. Alex Freeman along the near side crossed the ball back at the top and outside of the Guatemalan area. Malik Tillman with a bit of a dummy let the ball go to Luca De La Torre, and he smashed it, saved by Navarro, left a juicy rebound for Diego Luna, who buried that chance. Pardon me. And that made it 1-0. Then Tillman works his assist magic again at the near side. Saw Diego Luna wide open at the far side of the pitch, crossed it to him. He attacks down that far side. 2-3 touches, gets inside the area. Hard, low smasher inside the far post. 2-0 in the 15th minute, and everything else is gravy. A couple of cards here and there, but once again, this was an amazing night. Now, give credit to Guatemala pulling one back in the 80th minute. Olger Escobar, that's my fault on the spelling. I meant to do the S instead. I got the X. I apologize about that. Olger Escobar getting the goal using confusion for the defenders. And, of course, unfortunately, Chris Richards did have that yellow card on him, so he had to be extra careful. Beats Matt Freeze to the inside of the near post to make it 2-1, but that's all Guatemala could do. That's all they can muster. And the U.S. men's national team are off to NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas for the Gold Cup final. Currently, right now, of course, we're live here on YouTube. Mexico will be taking on Honduras in the other semifinal, as they are going to get ready for that one. And we'll see who the U.S. men's national team will play. Probably after this show is over, everyone will see that, Mexico or Honduras will already have won. But still, though, this is going to be exciting. This is going to be amazing. And let me just say this for this U.S. men's national team right now. These players, I'll admit this is not an A team. You can say B team. I'm going to say a C team that worked to become a B team. And even though they could not finish most of their chances after Luna scored, they did well. Not great, but they did well. Obviously, there's still more work to be done here. And depending on what happens in the final, if it is against Mexico, that's going to be extra difficult for these players. This will be their first ever taste for some of them to play against Mexico, one of the 3 North Zone powers of this confederation. And this will be Pochettino's second attempt going after and challenging Javier Aguirre in the technical areas. But I will say this. While Mexico has not been great themselves, that's for sure, they have been able to get the necessary results and advance. So we have big issues right now, but we also have some relief. But once again, this men's national team are now we have players that can challenge spots for the roster for the World Cup next summer. Patrick Ajimong, who uses his frame well, uses his speed well, shields the ball well, but right now is having a problem converting chances. And when it should have been 3-0 in the first half, Ajimong, who had the ball, instead of passing the ball in front of Luna, he passed it behind him. And he just, I don't want to be overcritical. But I have to be honest. He ruined an excellent scoring opportunity. He ruined an absolutely exquisite scoring chance. He needs to work on that on the international stage because club football is different than international football. And if we can get him to be better at that and anything and everything, he can succeed, okay? He can succeed. I've already said it many times, he's too raw, and that's understandable. He does not suck. He's just a bit too raw for this level. That's why he should not have been on this roster for the Gold Cup, and that is why he should not be on the roster for the World Cup. Even if he does get picked for the World Cup, he should not leave the bench again. I know you're tired of me repeating myself, and I apologize about that, but we have to make sure that everyone understands. Him sucking is not an intelligent conversation with all of you. He is too raw. He's not ready for this. And he needs more seasoning, which means more friendlies. Because of what Pulisic did, because of what the situation was with injured players, some injured players not coming back and ready for this CONCACAF Gold Cup, he was thrown into this, and Pochettino had no choice but to call him in. You can see what he can do, but at this point in time, the finishing part is just not there yet. Matt Freese, outside of the goal, he did very well. Came off his line whenever he had to, made strong saves. When he had to make an opportunity to take away a potential goal-scoring opportunity, a potential shot on goal, he was paying attention, he was on his toes, and he made the proper stops. Matt Freese, ladies and gentlemen, is the future for the national team in the goalkeeping department. Matt Turner right now, with the Lyon situation right now, having their financial issues, I don't know if Matt Turner will be available to play for Lyon if he decides to go somewhere else because of the financial issues that are having them relegated to the second division of French league football. So until we find out what happens with Lyon, because I know they put an appeal in for this with FIFA, and I also believe with UEFA, they are going to find out if their appeal will be victorious or they will have to suffer the consequences and just get dropped to Ligue 2, as they will no longer be in Ligue 1. But if their appeal is heard and they do win it, then obviously everything stays where it is. They stay where they are and everything is fine. But once again, the hope is this, is that Matt Turner does get starting minutes at Lyon, and he does play well for the French club. We'll see what happens. But let's just say for the hell of it, he decides to stay in France and honors his deal and says, yeah, I'll stay here. I'll play with you in the second division. And if he does, you know what? That's beneficial because you're still in France. You're just not going to be playing any Europa League games, but you're still playing in French football and you're still getting competitive minutes. Once again, it's competitive minutes. Should not matter the country in the continent, should not matter if he is going to be in first division football or second division football. If he is a part of the club and he's getting minutes and he's doing well, then you call him in. This is what some of you need to understand. Status means nothing. Minutes played means everything. Training with the best players in the world means nothing. Playing on a competitive pitch in a regulation stadium in front of 20 to 30 to 40 to 50,000 supporters means you, if you are playing consecutively, match in, match out in the calendar of the regular season, then yes, then Matt Turner should be able to battle Matt Freese for the starting position of goalkeeper for the U.S. men's national team. But if he's not going to get any minutes at all, then I'm sorry. If you call him in, he's third string goalkeeper. He doesn't start, and he's not the backup. He's the third stringer. Period. That's what you all need to understand. This is why you pay attention to these things, and this is why you have to understand that you cannot assume because he plays in Europe, he's on the roster. Absolutely not. You cannot coddle these players who don't deserve it. And even if they were starting, and they're not starting anymore, you know what I say? I'm sorry. You cannot be on the national team. And even if you are on the national team, you should not be in net. And this is where I will respectfully disagree with Landon Donovan. Respectfully, I'm disagreeing with you, Landon. I'm not jumping down on your back. I'm not kicking you in the head. I am respectfully disagreeing with you. I know and I understand that you believe Matt Turner has a European experience. Fine. That's nice, well thought argument. Fine and dandy. Whatever you say, okay. But I'm sorry, Landon. He did not start for Palace. He did not start for Forest. Even though he got an FA Cup winning medal, he did not start in net. So if he gets no minutes at the club, yet he starts for the national team, that is a problem. Okay? This is not, what we did with Josie Altidore long time ago when he went from the Red Bulls to Villarreal and got barely anything at the Spanish club. Barely anything. He was supposed to go on loan. No, we're not going to put him on loan. Okay, we're going to have him come off the bench. No, we're not going to play him. Okay, now is your game to get off the bench. Now we're not going to play you. Now we're going to send you out on loan. I mean, what was Villarreal doing with Josie? What were they thinking? If you wanted him, then either put him out on loan right away or play him. Period. And unfortunately for him, England was not good for him. He had two bites of the apple there. Should never have gone. He should have stayed at AZ Alkmaar in the Netherlands and Eredivisie. That's where he was more successful. That was where his game thrived. And he had to leave there to go back to freaking England for no reason. I'm sorry. That's what I'm talking about. And U.S. soccer is also guilty of this as well. So either these guys, they got to find minutes. They got to play. They have to be now. If they do transfer from MLS to Europe, they got to find a way to get the minutes. They got to find a way to win their spot. They got to steal a spot from someone on the roster. They have to. Because it's no more, I'm just happy to be in Europe. No more. No more. That cannot be the answer. It's either fight for the spot, show them you can play this game, show the Europeans that you're able to play this game, and go out there and prove it, not just to yourselves, prove it to them, prove it to us. It's time to no longer mess around. There's no more Mr. Nice Guy anymore here, guys. If you want our players to really gain proper minutes in Europe, regardless of which club they play for, regardless of which division they play in, they have to make their noise now. Because if they're not going to get minutes over there, well, then they're going to have to come back. And I know it upsets you, and I know it makes you upset, but that's not the point. The point is that if you get minutes and you're competitive, you go on the national team, regardless if you're in MLS or on the road or abroad. Period. Because we need players like Diego Luna, like Malik Tillman, like Matt Freese, like Jack McGlynn, to go out there and prove to not just us, not just themselves, but the rest of the world, Americans can play this game. Period. I'm excited. I'm happy. Let me just bring you that scoreline one more time. Look at that. Look what this man did here. Look at that. Diego Luna, 2 goals. Yeah, there were some hard fouls. Yeah, the time wasting one by Matt Freese, I thought that was kind of too soon. I mean, it was just after the substitutions were made. But still, though, this is what I'm talking about right there. Diego Luna. He is the new superstar of the U.S. men's national team. Marko Mitrovic. That was a crime that you did not allow Diego Luna on the Olympic roster. If he was on that Olympic roster last summer in Paris for the Summer Olympic Games, I think we'd be a little bit more competitive, and maybe we don't get destroyed by Morocco in the quarterfinals. I think we do even better, and we might have maybe gotten a point against the French in the first match. But we'll never know because Mitrovic decided not to give a permanent 18 squad roster position to Diego Luna. He gave him an alternate position, which was absolutely ridiculous. And this is why you get upset at U.S. Soccer. Because that kid not only proved it in the under 20 tournaments in CONCACAF and the under 20 tournament in the under 20 World Cup by FIFA, now he's proving it in the quarterfinals of the Gold Cup against Costa Rica and now the semifinals of this Gold Cup against Guatemala. Period. Plain and simple. End of story. That kid is something special, and that kid has the chutzpah to go out there and to do the business that we all want from this national team. And one more time, if it was not this poor attitude from some of our players on the national team, that MLS stadium is not filled by Guatemalan soccer fans. That is filled by American soccer fans all the way through. So you know what? Once again, whose fault? I mean, that's an answer that all of you already know. I don't have to say it again because you know what the answer is. But once again, the U.S. men's national team defeating Guatemala by a final score of 2-1. Great match. Great job. The Diego Luna Show, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for it. We're going to get a front row seat for it. And I can't wait for these friendlies in the fall, including the final this coming Sunday. Once again, be here for the 40 Scenes Fire American Soccer Show for the post-game show of the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait. and we are going to enjoy ourselves. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. My name is Daniel Feuerstein. Thank you very much for watching me tonight. And as always, please, 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 please enjoy your football. Thank you. Have a good night. Take care. So long. And bye-bye for now. Once again, U.S. men's national team 2, Guatemala 1. And the boys are heading to the CONCACAF Gold Cup final in Houston, Texas this Sunday on Fox. Bye-bye for now.